Listen, listen. I am calling for some complete honesty today. Complete honesty. When you hear the names Monique and Lee Daniels, I want you to tell me honestly, how many times have you actually said, "Fix it, Jesus, fix it"?
And feel like
Welcome to Kitchen Table Talk Live with SpillitBoyTV. Listen, I am SpillitBoyTV. And as I asked, how many times have you said, "Fix it, Jesus," when it comes to Monique and Lee Daniels? It's been a long week. It's been a long week when we think Hollywood and our Black actors and creators. It's been a long week. So, has Monique and Lee Daniels actually buried the hatchet? Have they actually made up? Are you serious right now? This is, like I said, it's been one of the craziest weeks ever. First, we got Will Smith smacks Chris Rock's face during the Oscars. And then a few days later, after a feud of almost 13 years, Lee Daniels and Monique make up just out of the blue, just make up. I didn't know whether to believe it or not, just like I didn't when the stuff happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock. I just kind of looked and said, am I actually seeing what I'm seeing? Really, really weird. This has been a strange week, but let me say this. One of the highlights of my full week was when I seen this. When I seen that, I saw the footage of Lee Daniels on stage there in Staten Island. Monique was doing a show. She's doing a show, and Lee Daniels came up on stage, and he apologized publicly. Told her, for anything that I have done that harmed you, I am truly sorry. It was a truly heartfelt apology. Just out of nowhere. I don't know what that was, but I'm going to tell you this. I don't even care. I don't even care. This is what I do here. I come to you guys. I'm on social media. I'm in my travels. I report to you all the most salacious, the most outlandish things that I actually see. The stuff with Lee and Monique was completely outlandish. It was completely salacious. All of that. I've been reporting on it, but never at one time did I ever stop loving either one of the two. I am a huge fan of both. So literally, I'm always poking fun. You know, with Monique, I'm like, one of my favorite things to tell you is, "Come in close, my loves." I'll poke fun at Monique, but I have loved Monique way back to when she was just a comedian, before we knew she could act and all of that stuff. I loved Monique. And I've always loved Lee Daniels. If you've been with me anytime, you know that I've always said, if there's one person that could ever take one of my books and put it into a screen situation, the person I wanted to do it was Lee Daniels. I have always had huge love for the both. So I was one person who, when I seen this and I knew it was real, when he said to her, well, she said to him first, "I love you, you bitch." And he said, "And I love you too, bitch." I said, "Oh, jeez. And I knew then that this was real. This was what I was seeing was real. I knew it was real at that point. I have no questions. I still have some questions about that stuff with Will Smith and Chris Rock. I ain't wrapped my head all the way around that foolishness. But this right here, no questions at all. It was a literal bury to have. See, sometimes when you got strong people and strong creatives, we don't see eye to eye. And when it blows up, it really blows up. And one of the things that Lee Daniels said in that meeting there on stage, right in front of all those people in Staten Island, he says, "She was my best friend. She was my best friend." And then he said, you know, sometimes, and I'm going to paraphrase because some of the words, you know, it was a comedy show, so they could say, they could be them and say whatever they want. He said, sometimes when you come from nothing, you get caught up. You get caught up. And what the bad thing is that when people get caught up, a lot of times they don't come back around and actually say, "You know what? I messed up. I'm sorry." And then the planets got to align. The planets have to align for that to happen. And then the other person to say, "Okay, I accept." She was as happy with his apology and accepting his apology as he was with giving it. And you could see it. I was sitting up here. Y'all know, child, y'all know I'm hard. But my face was wet. I was so happy. I was so happy. So happy. And that's what Monique said, you know, he and I and some other amazing people, we made magic happen. And we're going to do it again. Do you know how happy I was? Do you know how happy that me, SpillitBoyTV, aka James Colwell, do you know how happy I was? I didn't even realize it had been almost 13 years since this foolishness took place. And it was complete foolishness. Complete foolishness on both people's part. This is the same. See, that's the parallel between the Chris Rock and Will Smith situation and the Monique and Lee Daniels situation. It was foolishness on both parts. I don't feel like either person was correct in what kicked it off and how it went on for so long. The way that it was really all about her not wanting to go and do the promotional run stuff for the movie. She filmed the movie as a favor for a low price. She didn't want to do, once it was nominated, she didn't want to do the press run and the you know, all the elbow rubbing and the shoulder shaking that goes along with award season. She didn't want to do it. She didn't want to do it. And it just created a big rift. And then, you know, in that rift, there's more because the rift became a kerfuffle. Now it has Oprah Winfrey's involved and Tyler Perry. But at this point, who even cares? Who even cares about the Tyler Perry and the Oprah Winfrey, which I love the two of them as well. But who even cares about their thing? The core of what the issue is has been repaired, which is Lee Daniels and Monique. And I'll tell you why my face was wet with the whole situation, because Precious is the movie that all of this was about. Do you know how good that movie was? That wasn't a lavish production. That wasn't these major names pushing this film. That was a springboard for two people who are uberly talented, and their name was already known in the industry, but it springboarded them to somewhere else. Neither one of them would actually be who they are, I don't believe, without that movie. Had they never collaborated on Precious, Monique wouldn't be the Monique that she is. She was always going to be a star. She's always going to be a star, but she wouldn't be the star that she is. Without Precious, no. It was necessary for her career. It was necessary. Lee, it was necessary for his career. And they had to be together. The planets had to align for that to happen. And we are the ones who have lost out. 13, can you imagine what Monique and Lee Daniels could have put together in the past 13 years? We lost. We lost out because they were bickering. They lost money. They lost money. And they ended up, tarnishing their brand a little taste. Each one has tarnished their brand a little taste with this foolishness. And we, the consumers, the watchers, the people who love them, the fans, the stands, us, people who look up to them, we lost out because I'm sure there were more projects that they would have done. Had they never separated out in 13 years, there's stuff that they would have done. So I am completely ready for the future. I'm ready to see what they are going to create. I really am. And I never actually took Monique seriously. I'm telling you, I didn't take her seriously as an actress, an actual actress, until Precious. Yes, she was Nikki Parker, baby. She was Nikki Parker, okay? But, take it or leave it. I didn't fall in love with Nikki Parker. I fell in love with the comedian. And then when she did the talk show, the Monique show, that's when I fell completely in love with Monique and the full-on Monique brand. All of that is when we really got to know. The Nikki Parker thing, I could have taken or left the Nikki Parker thing. It was good work, but it didn't resonate with me the way that she did as Precious's mother. Precious's mother, because it's the complete opposite of who she is. That is not who she is at all. So that's what said, oh no, that baby is an actress. She's an actress. And it was serious, and I took her serious at that point. Lee Daniels, Precious. When I seen Precious, I was hooked. And shortly after here we go with Empire. And I was just, and then Star. And I'm all in. One of my finest moments being here, doing what I do, doing the show reviews and that. You all know I'm not one who I don't follow a lot of celebrities as far as on social media. I'm not one of those ones who follow them and they get mad and be blocking me and care. That ain't my gig. I do what I do and I move on. I didn't even realize it because, I told y'all, again, if you've been watching me, I love Lee Daniels. I didn't even know Lee Daniels has shared one of my videos, one of my review videos for Star. One of my finest moments. That's the time that I was like starstruck, like, are you serious right now? One of my cousins hit me up on the phone, like, did you know Lee Daniels got your thing, shared your stuff on his Instagram? I'm like, no, I had no idea. And I went over and I thought, big fan, but I had never actually followed him. I just didn't, I've never been one who never been a fan of ass eating and never felt like I needed to do any, you know, ass kissing. I just ain't my shush. So I don't really be following behind people. I love them from afar. I do what I do. But that was definitely, that was one of my proud. I was very proud of myself with that. Like I said, no joke about it. I'm a huge fan. But yes, when they do things that are salacious and they do things that are out of line and out of order, I report on it. That's what I do. Don't stop me from loving you, though. I love these two people. I'm so glad that this thing has actually cleared and closed itself up. Me personally, I don't really care what happens with the Oprah Winfrey piece or the Tyler Perry piece. I got a feeling it's going to fix itself at some point, but I don't really care. The core of the situation has been corrected, and that is these two. And I thought it was very genuine. Like I said, I left away from it with a wet face. I was completely happy with them two being back together, and I am really here for what are we doing next. We don't need to even discuss any of that anymore. The apologies have been made. They've been accepted. What we doing next? And then the mistakes have been made, so you don't got to worry about making those mistakes again. Everybody knows where they stand on this business piece. So let's go on. The friendship is cool. Let's get the business started so that we can benefit us, the consumers, because there's too much talent, too much creativity, too much greatness between those two for them to have been apart almost 13 years. See that? The big man moves in his own time. Because I know many days I was over here saying, fix it, Jesus. I really was. Even when I'm reporting the stuff and saying, look at them. They look crazy. This crazy. Fix it, Jesus. He moves in his own time. He done moved. He done fixed it. So on to the next. Listen, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate you. And I will catch you all on the flip side. This has been Kitchen Table Talk Live with SpillitBoyTV. Listen, my gurus is back together. I am so here for it. Listen, you guys have a good one, and I'll catch y'all next time. Later.
And feel like